Welcome back to another episode of Ground Gaming HD. Today in Stronghold Crusader once again, but this time with something a little bit different. We're going to be going with a 1v1 against LuminaR. Now LuminaR is what we might consider a pro player, or what I might consider a pro player, and it was certainly an experience. That's probably as far as I'm going to go. I have personally only played multiplayer once or twice, and so my experience of these fast tactics compared to the AI is incomparable, is probably the best way to describe it. But with that out of the way, we're going to be jumping straight into this game against LuminaR, and hopefully do something semi-interesting, even though I'm going to give you a spoiler alert, I didn't win. It's as simple as that. But I want to, I guess, point out a few mistakes that I made, and I guess the general tactics that players with more experience will be going through. So first of all, I kind of want to start focusing on my own castle, obviously thinking about building some sort of wall, a usual wheat economy with growing wheat with bakeries and with the mills to try and produce that. I found out afterwards you only need one windmill to 6 bakeries apparently, so that's the sort of ratio. Again, completely got that off because I've got 5 bakeries and I've got 2 windmills, again, which is a waste of resources, wood at the start, but there we go. But carrying on with our castle builds, trying to just ensure that first of all it's closed off, but really now this is the biggest thing that you're going to see in multiplayer is just assassins, and how quickly you can be kind of taken by surprise, and how you have to have special sort of defensive tactics in order to get away from assassins. But there goes the bell, so the game is now officially out of the 5-minute no rush, so we have 5 minutes of peacetime where you can't build troops or anything like that, and now we can start building troops. As you can see, I have a few archers, and I can start building up some sort of an army. So first of all, I put my archers on the outer tower. I try and use the slaves in a slightly cheeky way, put them in the corners of the map, and then try and attack from sides, because he hasn't got any kind of defensive base at the moment, no walls, nothing. So I thought I might be able to snag in a little fire and cause some disruption. And in the meantime, I'm going to start building up some horse archers, and horse archers are the second thing. Unfortunately, the slaves, they got seen by their horse archers very early on, and they didn't get anywhere near to the base. So again, LuminaR is completely understanding and keeping an eye out for those sort of little attacks. And yeah, so horse archers and shields is essentially the tactic to go for in multiplayer. So again, I'm just using this as an opportunity to kind of highlight some of my first experiences. I was aware of this tactic, so I did build some of my own, but again here, out of nowhere, you get the assassins which start to completely cause disruption and straight away destroying things that I've made with the engineers, so it's definitely a pain. But they are spotted obviously once they come into range, and it's important to have to take care of them. And I guess the most important thing at this stage is trying to build some sort of control and not spend too much time and concentration on fending off essentially a little attack, because that can be essentially taking up headspace where you think that there's something really important going on, but you're not focusing on, again, building resources, building up your army. So we've managed to fight that off a bit with our archers, but that's probably the only real win we get from this. In the meantime, we continue to get annoyed and pestered by LuminaR, which is completely understandable. That is what he wants to do, that's what he should be doing at this point in time. And we're going to just keep kind of going through, building up our economy. We do actually have some assassins in this bottom right corner, but we did take care of them, but they were annoying. And we can see the enemy base. The fear factor after the match, LuminaR told me it was -5, so that obviously is contributing towards the population, but you can see a huge amount of wheat and bakeries over there with plenty of mills, and so his food economy is going to be absolutely wonderful. But I thought I'd have a little stab at going for his outpost of horse archers, but by the time I got there with my own horse archers, which I think I had a slight numerical advantage, he then brought in a second wave of horse archers, combined them, and then a second wave of shields, and I had absolutely no chance to kind of get in there. I wanted to use some of my mercenary units to try and kind of cause at least a few kills, but that was no good. And again, I've only got 8 8 shields, and as soon as he comes over, he's getting a third wave of horse archers to join in the main army. I've got weak, is probably the understatement of the year, but weak base defensive. There's no towers, so I think, right, I need to make some towers, try and put some sort of catapults, mangonels on those. But it's going to be very difficult because I've just got so few horse shields, some shields for the horses. But not only that, but again, he has the fear factor. So combine that with the numerical advantage and the advantage to the actual horse archers in terms of numbers. I can't estimate. I assume there's probably about 100-ish. There's just no chance, and it's a complete nightmare. And the advances, my archers on top of my keep, on top of my gatehouse are okay. They can kind of give some support, which is why I brought back my own horse archers. But again, no luck. Potentially what I could have done here was just charge with my own horse archers and just go through and try and take out some of their shields or something like that. But it really wasn't working. My mangonel is active now at least, but again, it's not going to be particularly effective because there's so few. Really what you need here is crossbowmen, so you need obviously your cows to make the leather armour, and then your crossbows in the first place. But you can see they are not dying. It's as simple as that. There's so few of them are getting even damage with their shields, and so it's really difficult to get through. But yeah, at this point it's starting to think, okay, how can I kind of resist for longest? I did try to make a moat, but to kind of stop these side attacks from the assassins, which they had to cause a bit of disruption, but their assassins are completely taken in, so I have to now start to rebuild some of my buildings, such as the mercenary units, such as the engineering post, and they're just causing problems. And obviously you have to build, and it takes up time, it takes up money, it takes up, in this case, stone as well. And my army now of horse archers is completely decimated. There is nothing left at all, just a handful left, and the single assassin is also causing disruption. I tried to bring in a few more archers to see if there can be any kind of additional support and aid, but again, nothing. They continue to attack from the sides, and this is really where you start to see the reason to why many multiplayer games actually have a rule set. For example, no stone and no flying stone, and this is exactly why. Because once you have some flying stone, which is the catapults in this case, or trebuchets, they come in and you've got absolutely no chance to defend it. You have to respond within seconds if you have any chance. In fact, you have to respond before they're even anywhere near. And that's quite interesting, you know, the idea of having limited options in terms of the rules that they have. But you can see once they're within range, they are amazing in terms of how far away they can be from everything else. But you combine that with, I mean, look at this. They've got everything: trebuchets, catapults, horse archers, assassins, you name it. And so I think, right, at this point I'm just going to build a few last units, bring them to my keep, maybe use some of them to charge, bring some archers. Not that it's going to make any difference, but it's just beautiful to see, really, a full-on assault with a million different things happening, where you essentially just can't do anything. I thought, you know what, I'm going to take out this single ballista at least. Feel good about myself for one thing, but the second I take one out, then the rest are gone. And again, when you have 100, again, the fear factor of -5, there's just no chance. They throw in the fire, they completely destroy. I think at this point as well, I destroy some of my own buildings, so I get a few more resources. Not that it's going to do any difference anyway, but there's complete win, and we get the GG from LuminaR. Completely well played. Obviously, there's no comparison in terms of all the decisions. We can have a look at this base again, where it was completely, again, the fear factor, the breweries. We have obviously the hops being grown for the breweries, and then the inns to produce to counteract, as it were, the fear factor. But with that out of the way, the assassins take to the keep. They kill the king, and the game is over. So once again, thank you so much for watching. GG to LuminaR. It was a great game. Learned a lot. I will continue to learn a lot. And if you like this video, as always, really appreciate support. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.